Right. Roberta, you ready to go?
Surely, yes.
All right. Roberta Gould's poetry has appeared in innumerable poetry magazines, anthologies, blogs, and in her 15 books written over these many years. Magazines include Mid American Review, Sunday New York Times, The Whole Planet News, yay! Confrontation anthologies, A Slant of Light, Mixed Voices, Up the River, Rage Before Lament, Socialism and Democracy, etc. Her most recent of 15 books is Atravesar, a Kindle published in Mexico 2024, Day True, Lion Mountain Press 2024, and Talk When You Can, Tell the Truth, Presa Press 2023, Woven Lightning, Spike and Dival Press 2022. Her website is Substack, the Bird, Roberta Gould, my poet. The poet is most proud to have initiated a campaign in Mexico for international tourists to indicate that tipping was essential for hotel and restaurant workers and that price haggling with vendors was not proper. Both of these aims have had noticeable results. A dear friend of everybody here at CAPS, especially mine, Roberta Gould.
Thank you very much. Hi, I'm going to read something that I wrote today because I always read something new, but it's not really a poem. Someone came to the house and left some garbage in front of it. Necessarily so, and I was sleepy, it was at night, etc. So here's the poem. Dear Josh, believe me, I was quite angry to see what had happened, but I tried to control myself and be politic about it. I'm going to go into full screen, please. Well, I can't get full screen. Okay. Dear Josh, rinds and grinds, crusts and mess assorted is what your neighbor is dealing with this late hour, strewn on the steps and the walkway to the door, which you may not have noticed back from a happy walk some hours before. Far be it for me to inhibit the nature of Pipa, that's the dog, who, nearing the house, her olfactory nature kicked in again. Not the cat that attracted her, but bags set outside, delayed in their dump destination. They drew her and she got to work. Far be it for me to inhabit her exuberant nature, passing as you return a distance behind with your walking stick from the woods. I will keep to a minimum emergency delays to the dump and will appreciate your restraining Peepa as she approaches the house sniffing. Coda. P.S. Please knock lest she happen to find bags to get into again. In such case, we can work together and clean the mess in a jiffy. I will provide rubber gloves. He's trying to be politic about it. I'm going to read some poems now. These poems are unpublished. A lot are new, a lot are not new, and I've been culling and finding, and here we are. Moment. Yes. An old woman on a board whizzed past the grandstand, wheels grating hard, and an old man bent knee to prod a slow starting scooter, achieved go, and slid quickly forward. Don't laugh so hard. This is serious play. Peace wields no gun. So pray that in final tantrum, the powers that be out there kill themselves only and leave us alone. I think this book, I'm holding this, it's getting in the way of my beautiful face, is it not?
Yes.
Tell me, just guide me as I go along. I'm holding this side. This is called Mind. It's dealing with how the mind works, thoughts, and various things. Yeah, 2011. Number it so you find it. So an arrow traveling the page calls up memory. So you have it, know it. chew it to mash, swallow and digest it. Well fed, you say it, repeat it, and are its expert. Now what? You with your special cortex, will you flourish or perish? Vast knowledge, your baggage, will you own it? Discard it, despite or because? Will you be? Will you die? Will you fly? Will you fly? I don't write stories. I don't tell stories. I'm not narrative usually at all. This poem is called, no, I'm not going to read this poem about dogs. Windows. They extend the days. Our ancestors lacked them behind walls of wattle or mud. They slept long, not prodded by the sun, yet they'd step out to dawn's silhouette of trees. They praised their walls rightly, unable to equal the power of winter or the blaze of summer's sun. Confined behind walls so briefly, we dance in clothes of our choosing. Our modern floors keep the earth out. Its worms we pretend don't exist, and the infinite creatures soaring above, invisible to us. That book, written on Leap Day, 29th of some year or other, says we've made great progress these 1,000 years. Only 330% are homeless and hungry now. Oh, that's old statistics, folks. The homeless is more than 30% now in this world. So I'll begin over again. It says we made great progress these 1,000 years. Only 30% are homeless and hungry now. Not the 90% of those who lived the olden days. The 90% were homeless. What is the name of the book that presents this? The one whose title you forget. I want to feel encouraged, plant one more tree, sing as I walk down the street and provoke a chorus. Can you blame me? I won't be denied my social link to the future, growth toward our true nature, the saints, communists, and mother believed. So thanks for sharing the good news. And when you remember, please send me the name of that book. Up. To transcend the world, I drank my cup. It didn't convince. Always the generations to nullify the past. This was patent. I sat before the flame remembering mother and terrestrial truth. Are we rock, solid, repeat, predictable? I stared grimly ahead. What relief. Fun confined to the playpen. Then another cup given seemed to take me from the depths. I crawled across the ball field to the goal post. Many of these I didn't remember, but when I see them, I remember. This person is reading the news while waiting for a visit to hours to start to visit Donald Lev when he was in the hospital. The fountain will start spouting in 30 seconds. I read of Dr. Cavelli Sforza, called Big White Elephant by the Pygmies, when he lived in their villages, confirming genes and our common human origin. I drop the obituary as a red-spotted newt moves near a juniper tree in the sprawl of a town's conservancy, with a weary escape for an hour to meditate or eat their fries. I also move, no matter the wrong turn I take up Hospital Hill, to see my friend with his beard and breathing tube. I'm on time. How many hesitations till now, despite the world framed in 107 pages with pictures in the Times? I'm here, stepping lightly, not to squash a yellow mushroom, in the glory of its one day like my own. I who sat on a rock and got up, quickly walk across the parking lot, quickly enter my friend's room. And there he was in his last days, raging to the television because they were confirming that man as Supreme Court justice. You know, the man who, the one of the last. He was someone charged him with sexual abuse of a drunk teenager or something. I forget his name.
Brett Kavanaugh.
What's that?
Brett Kavanaugh.
Brett Kavanaugh, yeah. And he was. They said, Donald, take it easy. But it's being taken care. I know how you feel. Relax. Well, I didn't say that. It's different. Something like that. Switched. The items was switched. This is an old one. I don't understand everything I wrote, but I do understand it in a way. Switched. The items were switched. The plate had a movable shelf where the music didn't care, and each bird to alight was a stage, and each missile to pass was invisible. Still, there was clinging and naming. Nothing changed this. Naming. That's what we do as poets. We have to name, right? Who's there? Enter and leave the realm where there is slinking and falling, the dead sleep or speak, and giving is lacking or is short, where live hell is piped in, the same futile quest prevailing. Returning to that limited air, numbered breaths and time to redeem, you struggle ascending or sidewinding to your nearest start. Returned, there is vision. Your feet hesitate. Your hand is slow, but moves. And your heart open, despite everything, loves. Reluctant housewife. I don't even remember when I wrote these. The kitchen has stayed perfect since you left. These are political. And ice insulation keeps the warm air in. Scattered cups return to their cabinet hooks. The trash is neatly stacked near the kibble bin. It's lovely in the silence, yet I hear the dog tell what she always wants to tell. The sink is free of plates. The drain stays clean. I pour my liquids and no longer spill. I'm the reluctant housewife. I don't know. But ego's tribe has filched the very air, and greed and war, whims of ruling men, ferociously prevail. I suffer them, though the floor has been scrubbed and I've scoured a pan. In fantasy, of course. I who do not fear blasts of cold that enter through the cracks, and dirt and time's patina on old pots. The true offense is loosed by those maniacs. Yes, I would beat the rug if that would help, and even dust the bookshelves and the blinds. I'd plan a course of victory as I worked, to shift the air, transform their brutal minds.
Yeah.
Ah, inventions. This is more philosophical. I have given 150 turns to my latest notion, so you have a full display of my invention. This continues with others' whims and more of my own, offering word brilliance. This does little but fill up the sky, so bright now it blinds us. Destruction. What is this? I don't know what this. First, the ceiling fell. A snake emerged from the rafters. Then the train pulled out. The platform was too short. This was a game. Losses transformed to numbers. Nobody lived in houses. Crime was the daily bread. I changed it to this was a game. Losses transformed to numbers. The lucky lived in houses. Crime was the daily bread. Most people are good, but the devils take over. Island. You drive to road's end, but do not reach it. The pavement turns to sand. The sun stands out in pulses before going down. At the tip of the island, a tower fires its signal, red from which clouds fan out, glows for an hour before November's sky ignites tonight. These are three. Now, I don't remember writing these, but I have it here. I don't steal, I don't plagiarize, I don't copy. But if you see someone who wrote these, you tell them they can sue me or I'll sue them. I must have written them, but I don't remember. I often look at pictures, or I used to. If it's a five haiku after Chinese paintings. One, Shu Yi. When the river runs pure, the ox will drink. Till then, they wait. Two, Liang Kai. These must be the name of the painters, Liang Kai. He's cutting bamboo where the sky starts. The mountain is watching. Three, the pair. Caught in candle glow, the hermits smile like moons, eyes too like crescents. Four, in his billowing sleeve, he carries a scroll. His friend leans on a broom. Five, stooped and toothless, Xiansai lifts a little lobster. Stooped, I'm sorry, I'll take it. Stooped and toothless, Xiansai lifts a little lobster, smiling, toasts heaven. Epiphany. Well, it's a little bit sarcastic, I think. Don't blame me. Epiphany. Something really told me something, Epiphany. No explosion, just a thorn pricked the balloon and it burst. Poor thing. How it hung, lifeless, thin rubber strips. Glory was waning, the empire tottering in its beanbag. The rigged race deceived some, but everyone was playing. Candy at the finish line, available to all. On the streets, some dragged themselves about. Others raced madly everywhere to get their sugar ration. It kept them going. With flag in hand, they lined up to receive it, and they didn't die. The empire needed them. The photographs proved it. manna, like manna from heaven. And when it thawed, and when they thawed it, manna, and when they thawed it for Wednesday, their hands fell off. Some people don't appreciate, right? 10 or 20 years later, a long time ago, I don't know what each time she dialed, she told herself the stairs were the cause of her rapid pulse, that it was the altitude made her breathless, she who was from a port city. She'd compose herself then as she waited for the one she had loved so deeply to answer the phone, one who was surely overweight now and with practical delights. Curtains. These are the same theme here. Thanks for the curtains you made me. I don't remember who made me these curtains. Curtains. In fact, I didn't remember this poem. Someone told me it was mine. It is, I think. Curtains. Thanks for the curtains you made me a very fine pair. I sleep well now. No morning fingers prod me, nor your gaze, which is gone. It's dark in here. I've found my peace. No sun steals in to blast its song. Alone, I dream on and on. Nothing like dreaming. Life is a dream, as Calderon de la Barca said. Calderon has his play. Life is a dream, yeah, but I mean, he's not the one who just.
Couple more, Roberta, please.
Well, I have a few more, please. Just give me a little bit more time. This is Marie Kampke's kitchen. I rented room from her. She was about 88 years old. I was 50 something. The motherless chicks in the pot near the pilot chirp faster and louder. The kettle whistles 2 burners away. I wake from my trance, move them to the table, stroke them and beg pardon, and continue my breakfast. The cast iron skillet flares up with its fat. Let me find a couple to end with. As I look, Marie Kampke's, she lost her steer when she was almost 90 years old. She was looking for her steer down the road. Mauve tulips this side of the pond. She untangles her heifer. Lightning. Okay. All right, all right. The hearth. Okay, the hearth. Yeah, I have two poems that I'll finish with. This one is called Mother's Party. Some spiritual people were having a party commemorating mothers, the one who worked with Sri Aurobindo. And some young men with cell phones were doing music. It was something very strange and it was very good. I don't know, it was very strange. Mother's Party. Music filled the spacious room. Voices famous but unknown sounded over the cell phones. One with overtones impossibly high quivered like a thin needle. Another, integrated with insect calls, was a 7-minute symphony. As a child fussed and whined for attention, a puzzled dog rose from a throw rug. Food was spooned from pot to plate. Some talked, some listened. And the last poem is called The Hearth. Wow. Almost consumed, the huge log's ghost holds together, teasing the flames that cling, curl round it, spit over it into the hearth. The carbon seems solid, last illusion of the tree, and you too cling to it, the form so beautiful you want it but refrain from lifting it out. Still, it is great comfort before it finally collapses. No red giant as it ends, but simply our cycling sun, its warmth that contains us. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely beautiful. Beautiful.
Roberta, as always, we love you, Roberta.
Oh, that's very nice to hear. It's nice to get love. Thank you for loving me, and I love you too.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Roberta Gould, everybody, longtime friend and poet.
Oh.
All right, our next featured reader is also a Zoomer. I apologize to the folks in the audience for our audio problems, but at least we can see them up there. Jude Marr, he, him, is a pushcart nominated trans poet and the author of We Know Each Other by Our Wounds, Animal Heart Press,
Wow.
2020. Jude's poetry has appeared in many journals and anthologies. His next book, Silence Will Not Save Us, should see daylight in 2027. Jude now contributes as an editor with Animal Heart and lives in Coimbra, Portugal. Jude, come on up, buddy.
Who was that? Thanks, Mike. And thank you, Roberta. Those were amazing poems. I also have quite a few that I can't remember having written, but they're in my folder, so I guess I did.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so I think I may have mentioned last time I was here that I was doing 30 poems for 30 days for National Poetry Month, and I'm going to read some of those because, you know, I get tired of reading the same old stuff, and my next book isn't out yet, so I'm going to go with some April poems, which I think turned out fairly well. Let's see what you think. This first one is called Why Birthdays Are Overrated. April is the month of my half birthday, which is a childish milestone to remember, but I like the half-assery of it, which is to say, I have lived my life in the interim, somewhere between exposure and disguise, either sliding from one year to the next like a private eye in a long trench coat and a fedora. I do, in fact, own a fedora. Or tapping the mic and clearing my throat, hoping to find a voice that does not betray as I whisper what sound like secrets or sing a few bars of my signature song. All of which is to say that full birthdays are overrated. For those of us who have ever asked 3 people to a party and only one turned up and that was the one we didn't like. Or for those of us who don't love frosted yellow cake, or who hate when HR decides to orchestrate a birthday social in the break room for every employee, regardless of said employee's mental state. And full birthdays can also be difficult for someone like me, for whom birthday also means day when I was first mislabeled. So this month I turn 67 and a half, with my paperwork finally aligned and a mind-body that's less of a problem post-transition, making another fresh start in another less than perfect country, because, to state the obvious, we are all less than perfect. And of course I can still be exposed, and yes, I'm still in disguise as an adult, but as I walk toward the mic, hat in hand, I find myself believing in the new voice I have found, and if that voice doesn't crack, I may even light a candle.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one, many of these have some connection with whatever day it was last month that I wrote them. And this one's called Earth Day at the Botanic Garden. Botanic Garden in Coimbra, which has an ancient university, and the Botanic Garden is attached to the university, and it's also several centuries old. And it's one of my favorite places. The tree I love best is broken, hollowed out, barely rooted, but still living. Since our February storms, the moss and ferns that cling to this tree's rough trunk look more ragged, less reassuringly green. But the thin offshoot branches that spring from the tree's arthritic upper limbs are, now that spring is fully upon us, topped with new leaves. The old tree's hollow body cants backward at an angle so steep that it must be propped in order to survive, and those deadwood props, sturdy and machine-tooled, serve the tree as a prosthetic limb, can serve a human who might live less well without such intervention, who might, without intervention, choose not to live. And I wonder if the tree knows what happens to old forest timbers when they begin to fail, their root soil eroded, their strength sapped by age or violent weather, their neighbors unable to save them. Or does the old tree know the fate of young wood, grown to be cropped and sown and sold, gone too fast and unmourned? The tree I love best is not conventionally beautiful, not well proportioned, not fruitful, not rare. Only its back roots remain connected to the soil, to necessary nutrients, like a body sustained by an ivy bag hanging from a pole, like a body no longer able to talk to the taller, straighter, more vibrant trees gathered around its hospital bed. I've never hugged a tree, but sometimes I reach out and lay my hand against this old tree's cracked bark and ragged moss. Not for long, just long enough to suggest we might have known each other in another life. We might even have been friends. So this one was a response to an article in, I can't remember where I saw the article, but you'll see that it was about a recent discovery. It's called Dots and Crosses. Have you ever carved your name into a tree only to recall with shame and after many years the harm done to another life? In England, there are leaded window panes in old churches with initials scratched into thick glass that is still unbroken after centuries. Sometimes those initials can be matched to a name inscribed in faded ink in the parish register or a headstone in the churchyard, watched over by an ancient oak, while gargoyles, their rictus mouths stretched wide, stare down. 40,000 years ago or more, in what some call the Stone Age, our ancestors painted cave walls and also made carved art out of ivory and bone. Can this mammoth, carved from mammoth tusk, found in what is now Germany, be called a memorial? Across the mammoth's shoulder and worn haunch, rows of incised X's look like stick figures, arms raised, fingers touching, feet set apart. Experts now suggest these marks may be a kind of proto-cuneiform, dots and crosses at the dawn of writing things down. Patterns emerge, but we may never know what they intend. X's, though, we understand, as the mark a person without written language makes, to be seen, to give assent, to live on in the pressure of their hand. Okay. The machine as a metaphor that machines can't understand. I feel like this one is more appropriate for this evening. Do you remember where you were when you heard that the Mars rover had died? That was back in 2018, which seems like a lifetime ago, I know, given how many robot lives we have all expended since then. But cast your minds back, and you may recall that the rover, known affectionately by its given name of OPPI, short for opportunity, had been living its best life on Mars for about 15 years, exploring the red planet, sending back data postcards as required by the original mission program, surprising everyone at NASA with the longevity of its badass solar-powered battery, acting like the star of a Pixar movie, or a tourist who overstayed his 90-day visa, but he's one of the good ones, so no one's sending him to jail or back to where he came from, especially as the hotspot that he's visiting is one best experienced vicariously by those creatures who need oxygen to breathe. Oppie only needed sunlight to breathe and a battery that kept charging. And then his battery stopped charging, and he was alone. Oppie's circuits sent 2 last data dumps while they still could. First, they reported that the sky had gone dark, that no sunlight was coming through, which is how the situation looked to them. Even a machine, it seems, cannot correctly interpret all of its own observations. Then they reported that there was no power left. But perhaps what you remember best are Oppie's last words as tweeted by a science journalist named Jacob Margulies, who extrapolated from the facts, as poets do, to make meaning. Perhaps you even bought the t-shirt. My battery is low, and it's getting dark, the rover said. The rest is silence. You may recall that it was also Shakespeare's birthday in April. Okay, and in April, it's also the anniversary of the Portuguese bloodless revolution in 1974, which some of you may remember. And this is sort of arising out of that. It's called On the Anniversary of a Bloodless Revolution. The revolution, when it comes, will not change everyone. A carnation shoved into the barrel of a gun is still for some a penetration. Red petals scatter in the aftermath. The age-old imagery of blood tells different stories. One turn of revolution's wheel may be a tumbrel to the guillotine, maybe a freedom bus painted with flowers. An artist of the body knows the human palette as infinities of subtle tones. A poet of the body knows only nakedness. The wheel turns. Our hands are on the wheel. Okay. Of stars and ships and coelacanths. Some say that the stars we see with our naked eyes, because they are so far away, are almost certainly already dead when their light reaches us. This is cool to think about if you like history or contemplating your mortality, or if you're a poet. In truth, though, the stars we see without a telescope are in the Milky Way, which is only about 4,000 light years away, and those stars do not die with frequency. And we city dwellers rarely see them anyway, but what's cool is that starlight can be seen underwater, which means that sea creatures also have stars in their lives, their nights connecting them to the depths of space and time, the possibility of light, although the deeper they are in the ocean, the farther they are from that possibility. Coelacanths live far enough down that, as you likely know, they were long thought to be extinct. This is what we mean when we say out of sight, out of mind. At their depth of around 1,000 feet, the light is dim, like a flashlight when the battery is dying, or a star-shaped nightlight in a baby's room. But coelacanths are low energy. They crave gloom. They favor canyons and caves and rocks known to the snagged fish line of their ancestors for 400 million years. They walk with their fins. They know what they know. $400 million, or euros or pounds, is an unimaginable amount, although much less than $1 billion. The rich white men who went down with the Titanic would, many of them, be billionaires if they live now. The ship that defines them, the parts not eaten by sea creatures or worn to sand, lie in darkness on the ocean bed at 12,500 feet, an unimaginable depth. No starlight, only the scattered facets of a chandelier. And I think we are connected to this wreck by the anchor chain of human history. We may know ourselves by what we take, by who we leave behind, by whose names we record. Okay. One last one. I forgot to look and see what time it was when I began, but I think I'm okay for time. Now, the prompt for this one, because it comes in at the end, was to write about something that you have discarded. And it's called Researchers Have Discovered a Scrap of Homer's Iliad Inside an Egyptian Mummy. Maybe you saw this story. I think it was quite widely reported. It is not unknown, these researchers say, to find a bundle of papyri wrapped and sealed inside a mummy's chest, a tiny library of magic spells or rituals, something for the journey perhaps, or something to smooth passage to the underworld. But a page from the Iliad, that's a first. It's a section from the second book, an elaborated list of all the Greek ships that set out for Troy, for endless battle on an endless plain, for Helen and revenge, or for respite from the day-to-day. Who made this choice, I wonder, to spend the endless day-to-day of death with a page of poetry wrapped inside the concave of their scooped-out, embalmed chest where their heart once beat? Or was the choice a gift made for them, a last rite to impress the gods? Or to remember what lives on, the immortality of words spoken down the centuries, scribed and printed, annotated and translated, until a fragment of papyrus is enough to make a headline of someone unknown who died in Roman Egypt 1600 years ago. I have discarded almost everything I've ever owned, including my birth name. And of course, I don't expect to be remembered for the words I write or for the journey I have taken. That's okay. Homer is a myth anyway. But yes, I would like to end with a poem in my chest. Thank you.
Bravo.
Wonderful, Jude.
Hey, man, I love you here in Gardner.
Yes.
I don't know how far Gardner is from Portugal, but
Pretty
I
far.
love you here. Another hand for Jude.
Yay.
It's a real pleasure to have heard you for the first time. Excellent.
And beautifully read.
Yes, indeed.
That was one of the beautiful things. Once we got on Zoom and started Zooming all over the world, we met people like Jude. And thanks, man. Thanks very much.
Jude,
All right.
Jude, are you from England or some other territory?
I'm from Scotland originally. I've lived all over the UK. Yeah.
Excellent. Gotta love Scotland.
Really powerful. I love the connection, the way you combine the imagery of stars and trees and everything. It's really moving.
Thanks again, Jude. Our next featured reader. Our next reader is actually in person, right here in Gardner. What can I tell you about Irene O'Garden that you don't already know? But Irene O'Garden has won or been nominated for prizes in nearly every writing category: stage, hardcovers, literary magazines, and anthologies. Her plays include off-Broadway's critically acclaimed Women on Fire, saw that one, Little Heart premiered in 2023, and her new commission, Alice in Widowland, premieres in 2026. O'Garden won a Pushcart Prize for Glad to Be Human, included in her book of essays by that same name, published by Mango in 2020. Harper published her first memoir, Fat Girl. Mango published her second, Risking the Rapids, which I will suggest everyone read. Two of her three children's books were with Harper, and Narala published Full Curtain, her poetry collection. Her essays for the spoken word event Writers Read have been published in several of their anthologies, including their 10th anniversary Best of Writers Read. It is always a pleasure to bring up my friend, Irene. Where is she?
Thank you so much, Mike. It is such a pleasure to be alive in front of you, living audiences, and in front of you, Zoom audiences as well, who are equally alive. But it's really wonderful to be in the room. Thank you for those beautiful poems, Roberta and Jude. I'm proud to be on the program with you tonight. So I have some new stuff, some old stuff. This is one of the newer poems, and actually a few members of the audience shared this experience with me. Extraction. He did not make it clear to me. It would be conspicuous with every uttered word or sneeze or laugh, a black tablet of absence right in the front bottom row, puncturing my smile. This shocking lack is not supposed to be, given modern dentistry, but here it is. No attempt to conceal it till next week, and me with dinner guests and tickets to the theater, and this gap, this gulf, this chasm between the tooth of my youth and the gappy skull to come, to be bridged on Tuesday by a new little set of Scrabble tiles for biting and speaking. Miraculous, really, so that I'll no longer in a social situation feel I must request, please pardon my mortality. Good grooming. Pluck out your eyebrows of doubt. Brush off the crusts of your tears. Crumple your worry, toss out. Slip confidence into your ears. Bat your eyes, lift your heart. You've got a date with your art. This is a very, very old poem, and yet spring is a very, very old thing. The grip relaxed. Winter's crippled branch has bud out of rolling knees of mud, forcing forth from shielded care blooms of spring's down sweeping air. Down brown slopes the girl is rounding, angled arms and free heart pounding, breath a bright and snapping flag to shred the winter's limping rag. Her drumming body gloved in the sun, her seventh dance to spring begun. Upon the smoothing air, her laugh is cutting winter's corpse in half. Skyward shines, skyward slides the shining bird, whose looping circle sounds are heard, beaming from his tilted beak. Is there cause enough to speak? The quickening. Green is the quickening. Bursting pine tips, dense, glossy moss, chalky, pubic lichens, crisp edge fern, sage of ancient rock. Feel for yourself the world of changes. Only love, now born, abides. Prima verita. Growth in a single day. Spring. Green leaf ribs uncrumpling. Flocks blushing over the ground. Chalk cherry mist. Willow yellow mist. Bird urgency. Egg falls from a nest unseen as we open the awning. Oh. The picture I could not take was the moment he put a flower behind his ear, whimsical in his tropical shirt over his broad heart, which shruggingly accepts his wife's decline, as they accepted Third Avenue bed bugs years ago, which they spoke of tonight. Tonight, his wife, beloved to me, listens to the rain's applause on the awning over the dinner party, as I tell her of the village in France where monks built a porch solely to listen to rain. Her husband, beloved to me, nothing, only the rain to be done. This was a COVID poem, but it is surprisingly timely. Snow in May, shocked robins, stunned buds, sap cracked twigs. Tenderness is lost to us this season. Dawn chorus addled as corona shattered choirs. Brown and brittle fiddleheads arrested in mid-curl, like students stunted, absent one another. Tenderness is lost to us this season. Spring liquor kinked in the veins of the leaves. Circulation still as transportation, though air still circulates. And the stone planet with the lava heart we know is moving, for the hour grows late. Hours move in nonchalance of weather. Tenderness is lost to us this season. This is for Minnesota, 3 months back. Iciest night. Iciest of nights. Horizonless dark. Darts of light charge from stars and streets. I woke up with this in my head the other day, and it's, this is not what I call a crafted poem, but this is a poem that just wanted to be read aloud. And it's actually almost a song, but it was. It's called Other People Thoughts. All day, other people thoughts in my head. All night, other people lives in my eyes. All day, other people's songs in my ears. All night, grapple other people fears. Between lions' paws. I passed between lions' paws to view a corpse, the Dead Sea Scrolls in a clean glass case at the New York Public Library. Chromosomes of Christianity. Cannot bear touching. Crumbled rinds, sucked dry, rusty husks, shrimp shells, life gone out. So worn, a glance disintegrates them. But in richly smelling Cairo, On the upper floor of a humble museum, under the gaze of an early Aphrodite, like any American colonial wingless gravestone angel, among tattered sleeves of homespun, hand-hammered handles, in the heart of a culture that birthed the binding of books, I saw, flung wide like wings, 2 sheets of papyrus, fresh as yesterday's felt tip notes, clear and new as a just rung bell. Nag. Pages from the buried Gospels, centuries suppressed. Trust self, they say, your own divinity. Women equally with men. Humans share creation's power. Live what we create. Create what we change. Change with creation. I read these reed marks weaving on a page of woven. The certainty of stroke conveys the certainty of scribe. Wear out these ideas now, the firm hand says. Dark ages. Descendants will mourn and marvel at these dark ages. Luminous human consciousness as yet scattered torches, nurtured in these windy outposts, while cities shiver for the dawn. Clear cut. Passing even quickly, upended stumps, chain-sawed limbs, echo in my arms, uprooted as if my brain were grabbed and all my sensory trails to it left dangling like dead wires, the veins and nerves from eye and nose, spinal cord torn by the bulldozer. Egg, kimchi, dragon, tree. These are search results for 1,000-year-old. Egg, kimchi, dragon, tree. The redwoods are the place I go within whenever someone says, relax. Silence, serenity, peaceful eternity of 1,000-year-old things. Yet even they are finite if for a buck you chop a tunnel through. Egg, kimchi, dragon, tree. 5 times older than our Constitution, the grand sequoia tunnel tree shattered on an afternoon after one last long storm. I can stand no longer, half my roots amiss, my inside hollow. Egg, kimchi, dragon, tree. The USS United States. Sleek, supreme achievement, surpassing the Titanic. Fastest ocean liner ever. She carried Marilyn, Marlin, Harry, Dwight. The glamour, the pride of the ride, unmatched until flight obsolesced her. Left her 30 years stalled at a dock in Philly. Engines inoperable, foiling amusement park plans. The USS United States, a bobbing, rusting shame. Then someone said, if she's not working, sink her. and it went against the grain. But the tugs were hitched, and 4 small boats pulled this massive hollow hulk to the Gulf to be cleaned and stripped, detoxified, and sunk. For you can make a wreck a reef. You can shore up coral. You can feed communities you never knew existed when the USS United States floated over them. Carrying America. The America we carry never shot her children. The America we carry loves her body's land. The America we carry marches shoulder to versicolor shoulder from sea to shining sequence. The America we carry raises the barn together. The America we carry raises the bar together. The America we carry cannot be wrested from us. We haul her, we lug her, we hoist her, we bear her like a temple chalice. And when she seems to be torn from our arms, we transmit her like DNA. America has carried us, and now we carry her in our inviolable hearts, in our unstoppable actions, in our flowing humanity. America, we carry you. Sweet pit of the fruits we are. We cleanse the earth and feed it. Soil that was fetid is threaded with living connections now. America, we plant you properly. We tend you properly at last. This is a process poem. Some poems come and you want to craft, and then some poems just come. And this is a poem that wanted to find out what it was about, so I simply left it as it arrived. That thin word, it's very new. That thin word. Something about persistence, something about outlasting, something about shock and devastation, then subtle fronds of recovery. Mount St. Helens, 9/11, COVID, impossible disasters, death, loss, and time unfolding. Life, life, that thin word won't be stopped. New ways to aid, new habitats, modes, nodes of connection, another sun rising on human effort, sailing toward dawn on gold scribbled waves, towered clouds attend Apollo, their gray backs edged in gold. Why would you not, given sea and sky and sun, assume divinity, though it become too vivid to behold? Biophilia. From the balcony of age, I watch young, loose-limbed brothers plunging off the dock, swashing to shore, rolling, coating their bodies in sand, possessed by urgent, ancient impulse. What's this substance? What can my body do? Worship on the younger's face. His brother scales a tree, hands free, but on one trunk, bare feet up the other, creeping like a coconut picker, lifting his supple self higher till the gap exceeds him, and he scrambles down, thrilled as if he'd summited. Grinding around in the sand again, screwing his head into it, kneeling in earth adoration, scooping, shampooing himself with sand. I am part of this, he's part of me. Flopping back, heaping sand over himself, the younger is helping to bury him till, laughing, up he resurrects, shakes like a shaggy spaniel, then throws himself back down like a home run baseball bat, writhing at the blissful crest of childhood. At their crest as well are two girls passing in skirty bathing suits, absorbed in the rapture of friendship. They do not see them. Neither do the boys see them. For now, all is sand, water, grass, trees, and he leaps to his feet, ecstatic, jumping, jumping, jumping for joy. Just one or two. Awakening. Have you ever held a month-old baby in the crook of your arm? Has she awakened at last? Have you chattered away to her, narrating nonsense? Have you felt her body oscillate with joy? Seen glee suddening her face as language dawns on her? The moment that she understands, she will be understanding. Just so. Just so. Two more. One from my husband. Always has to be a love poem. It's not a spring poem, it's a fall poem. October rain. Rolling waves of cooling air. Slowing crickets, sure in steady sound. Reminding me to thank you, spouse, for rhythm fixed as crickets. For close vein heartbeats dousing doubt. For finished sentences and musical salutes, and knowing self itself as music, with rhythm to be counted, literally on. Melody free to dance, and play a bridge in place for those who never read a line of poetry, but who hear, as we all do, intention, which shouts through fingers, and like a pumpkin out of every head explodes, and which propels our feet, those humble parents of our travel, bearing our intention to sing as crickets bear their cadence in their wings. And lastly, because it's that time of year, rails of asparagus. Rails of asparagus rolling in olive oil, roast and caramel on fierce oven rails. Rails, crossing keyholes of garlic, all crisped in the pan for this gold. Sharing asparagus, olive oil, garlic. Beloveds are here. Hear me now. They won't always be. Always be mindful of this. Pass this. Oh,
before we carry on, we're going to start with the open mic with the Zoomers because there's a lot of you guys out there. I'm sitting here and I'm saying to myself, you know, one of the first featured readings I ever did was with Roberta Gould back in the mid-90s. And I first met Irene back in the mid-90s. I just want to thank you both for making this trip with me, one way, shape, form, or other. Thank you, guys. Okay. I did bring, I did, but I don't know where it is. All right, so that was our featured readers. How about another hand for Roberta and for Jude and for Irene? On May 21st, Zoom only will be Patrick Hammer. On June 5th, first Friday, we'll have David Applebaum, Michael Macklin O'Mara, and Gregory SETH Harris. And I just want to welcome everybody to come by anytime you can. All right, let's start. Don't count them. Hold on. No, the last one, I don't know. No, it's not. No, June's not going to be because I'm not going to be here. So June won't be here. June is Zoom only. Thank you for reminding me about it. See, there's always people that have to keep you on balance. So, all right, the first open micer on Zoom, Maggie Hall from Australia. Join us, please.
Hi. Hi. Oh. When you're blue and you don't know where to go to, sound bites fill in a spinal hijack, foundless. Michael's parents had been native Siamese. His coat was a rich tawny, his points chocolate. His mask was not V-shaped like a martin's, but rounded. His tail had a decided kink at the tip, and his eyes were like sapphires. By this date, Michael was out of fashion. So rapid had been the development of the westernized type we accept as the standard today for Siamese cats. Cutting, reaching, peeling the seal's skin off of a mermaid, Poseidon theories, a new trophy. Why don't you go where the earth rumbled, a scapegoat frozen in time, disguised as darkness, spores to an unknown galaxy as he sits. You probably know that any line from the center of a circle to its edge is called a radius. What is the relationship between the radius and diameter of a circle? Why don't you go where the earth rumbled, a scapegoat frozen in time, disguised as darkness, and the spore of an unknown galaxy sits?
Wow.
Bark, 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 until you could hear them all over the park. Now, when those bold heroes together assembled, the traffic all stopped and the underground trembled. And some of the neighbors were so much afraid that they started to ring up the fire brigade, when suddenly, up from a small basement flat, why, who should stalk out but the great Rumpus Cat? His eyes were like fireballs fearfully blazing. He gave a great yawn and his jaws were amazing. And when he looked out through the bars of the area, you never saw anything fiercer or hairier. And what with the glare of eyes and his yawning, the peakies and the policels quickly took warning. He looked at the sky and he gave a great leap, and they, every last one of them, scattered like sheep. And when the police dog returned to his beat, there wasn't a single one left in the street. Dressed up like a song, the paranoid scream sits cross-legged, dead inside a chrysalis, burnt in a stake between a thief and murderer. The mother holds an orange star while listening to the lion play his flute while dreaming. And if you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where passion sits, putting on the Ritz?
Yeah. All right. That was
Oh,
fantastic.
there you go.
Loved it so
Maggie-
much.
I love
Maggie
you guys
came-
so much. Thank you.
Oh,
Me too.
that was wow.
Hey Maggie, what time is it out your way?
Oh, it is actually a pretty decent time. It's 10:33 a.m. So
Tomorrow.
not bad at all.
Tomorrow.
Yes, today is Saturday for
All right.
us here.
Joan, you're good. You're next. Joan Goodman.
Okay,
Joan, you with us?
I got myself audio. Do you hear me? Oh, I look
we
terrible
hear
in this light. Wait a second, I'm going to turn around because I'm in kind of in too much of a shadow in the other place. Here we
You're
go.
beautiful, everyone.
All righty then. All righty then. Permit me to just announce that today I committed to ebook my first book of poetry. It's going to go up on the Kindle KDP by next week. I was hoping that it would be up today, but it's like ready, but still needs tweaking, and then it will go up online next week. So I just wanted to say that because I'm wishing that anybody who hears and likes what they hear, if you would kindly put a message in the chat that I can contact you by your email so that I could ask you for reviews for the book. I would sure appreciate that. So I'm going to read, in honor of this event, I'm going to read something I wrote today, and then I'll read, if I can, am I permitted the second one, I'll read something else. We Women Who Write, in honor of my first book going public. What shall I write to you, you who know not that I write? What shall I say to you, you who know not that I speak to you? And that's what I do, sitting here in my chair. I write to you, you who think poetry is not for you, because what? Boring? Because obscure? Unavailable? How can I show you the magic and entice you in? We're a queer lot, we women who write poetry, said Amy Lowell. Well then, I'm happy to be queer, like Amy, Emily, and Sappho. Poetry lets me breathe. I am sitting here breathing slowly, calm in the writing, calm in the thinking, imagining mind. And who's to say it isn't the mind that's thinking me? And I woke up loving me like Whitman, maybe because it's spring and I am one with the greening earth. Romance is ripening, with or without me. Mayday, it is Mayday, with or without a mate. I am ready to love. And it might as well be love of self, the great love we spend a lifetime learning. So let me learn it. I am writing. I am sharing the love of words with others. Amy Lowell showed me this very morning as I read her, singing of Sappho as sister, we women who write poetry, this tossing off of garments into the wind. So you, who will soon know that I write, what I write will be made available to you whom I wish to know. I write to know you. I write because I am you and you me, like Whitman, our cousin, brother in poetry. I sing myself to you and to all of my sisters and brothers in poems. I stitch myself to these words in long dashes like Emily. And like Emily, I will out to the garden to watch my lavender grow. Together we'll reach toward the light, my arms like theirs of blue-green, spiky leaves ready to take in the sun and put out purple buds. So inexhaustibly aromatic, undying, never losing the exuberance of scent, I am like the lavender today. Today I put out the scent of poetry. Sorry, I hear something ringing. Is that somebody's phone or is it mine? I have no idea. Not mine. Okay, do I have time for another one?
Yeah,
Yes?
short one.
Short one. Short one, he says, short one. Make it short. Hurry, make it brief. I should read my brief poem, Mike, but I'm not going to. I'm going to read, because of Holocaust Remembrance in April. April was a mixed blessing. Yes, it's Poetry Month, and I wrote more than I have in a while. It was inspiring, but it was also a month of memory. So I'm reading Memory of Loss for Ruth. She told me, I was 5 years old. I remember my mother's hair trailing as they dragged her body on the straw on the floor of the barn when they dragged her away, her long, dark, flowing hair. I have tried to climb into that hair, press my face to its softness, feel the wavy locks against my cheek. I have seen the dark waves wash the wisps of straw, the floor of the barn, a golden broken roughness, snagging the black strands. The rasping sound as it snapped, allowing the body to pass. The child watching, washed in tears. Mama and Mamaloshin, the language of love, washing downstream on waving locks of hair. Black, black is the color, and dark the passageway from life before into life after which, Überleben, survival, is to pass over straw and waves of dark memory.
Thank you, Joan. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you for listening.
Michael, you still with us? Michael McElmary, you still with us?
Yes, sir. I'm actually awake.
Go for it, man.
All right, sir. These are from a series called Fractures. There'll be 2 of them tonight. Translating the Wind and Rain. The catalog of what I do not know rivals the Library of Alexandria before Caesar's careless flames. Memory grasps scrolls which hold shape until touched to dust. Oh, mourn and do not mourn the coming loss. Offstage, gangs like Jerome Robbins' Sharks and Jets dance with menace. Boy, boy, crazy boy. A lifetime of crows on a rooftop, crows on a wire, crows exploding a winter tree, cawing their glimmering odes. A lifetime of keys in a kitchen drawer. In my Cherubino days, where not 1 or 2, but 3 crows feast, devouring my heart, my head protesting, which is real, who gifts the flashy feathers iridescently, boy, boy. Confusing permissions and persimmons orange on a green bough, madness hurts us into poetry, holds this flesh, this weather. Still, the moons are churchyards are churchyards, moons, terraforming one sweet relic at a time. Young gods spew their 1,000 names. And the second is titled The Coming Storm. My internet feed is filled with excerpts from Rachmaninoff's Second Piano Concerto, and I'm okay with that. Sometimes I can even ignore that a pop song borrowed a smidge of it for that sappy all-by-myself tunes. Which brings me to my first divorce. It was the vinyl age. My mind was not my own, overwhelmingly crammed with somebody done, somebody wrong songs. I built a house of wishes and regrets. It's surprisingly strong. And whether it falls or flies like Auntie M's, for now, it's mine. My head fills with the distant howling whine of wind from arid spaghetti westerns and mute snares of tumbleweed, which I've never in real life seen. Flash flood snippets of Nita Rota's inescapable, A Time for Us and Amarcord. It's not as pathetic as it seems, for all its rainbow crystal dream catchers. I'll build my house in a swaying tree, rockabye, rockabye. I'll borrow the Morning Dove song. Thank you, Calling All Poets.
Yay.
Thank you, Mike.
Oh, wonderful.
For everybody who's out there, if you liked what Michael just did right now, he will be here on June 5th. So please come on back.
Fantastic.
Thanks, Michael. Erica, you're up. Erica, you still with us? Please say yes.
Correll, you tell us if she's here.
She is. She's turned off though for video and audio both. Let's just move on and we'll circle around after this next one.
All right, Shaun Pankoski, you're up.
Hello.
There she is.
Greetings from Hawaii. It's only 3 o'clock here. Okay. I'm going to read you. I just got back from New Zealand about 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to write. I wrote a poem in the airport while I was waiting for my flight. Okay, this is called The Airport Barista Explains Feijoa to Me. She has brows like Frida and that same direct gaze. Instead of flower-braided hair, a high ponytail. Instead of embroidery and lace, a plain black polo. When I start to speak, she knows that I'm a visitor. I tell her I'm from Hawaii. It feels safer these days than to say I'm from America. She shows such kind interest, explaining all the pastries in the case, all the drinks in the cooler. Food is so different here, fresher and more real. I choose the apple feijoa juice. And she tells me that feijoa is her most favorite fruit. Her eyes shine as she describes its green color, cups her hands in the shape of an egg, mimes slicing it, scooping flesh from wine. I nod excitedly, explaining that I did the same thing this morning in my room with a golden kiwi. We smile at each other, at the shared memory, at the mutual sweetness. Thanks.
Thank you, Shaun.
Yeah, Shaun, that was wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, if you think that was wonderful, Shaun will be with us on first Friday, September 4th.
All right.
Thank you for the plug. Thank you, Mike.
It was fresher and more real.
How did that happen? Erica, you back? Would you like to join us? Mary Louise Kiernan, are you with us?
She left. Erica's still here, but offline somehow. But Mary Louise said goodbye before.
How dare she? All right, let's go to the human people over on this side of the microphone. Kathy Burns, you're up.
Hello, everybody. Can you borrow your cheaters?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. I left mine in the car.
Not cheaters.
Oh, yeah. All right. So lots happened in the last 2 months. So I prepared some of these for a month ago and the moonshot figured in. So again, these are knots on my threads of haiku, but we'll see them mutate. Okay. Tyranny, as old as humanity, bred into gene pools of our blood. too much. Thanks, though. Okay, why not? Ah, that's better. Well, see, then I can see that. Good. This kind of relates to your upcoming anthology. Oh, of all of us. Blonde bully covets power, endlessly afraid. Truth will rat him out. USA slathers. Endless ego on the world. Yeah. Out of just what? Tyrant's brutal siege. Not new or unique for sure. Sadly, global now. Boy, did that come true in the last few weeks. Jeez. The experiment. Democracy's promise. Never guaranteed. Now we're all slaves to a corporate machine. Our colors melted. Humans are their own asteroid. Mass destruction. Grown from the inside. Jury's out. History you won't live to inhabit. Keeps writing them pages. Humans, always a blip. Unalienable, right? Right? Just our fantasy. Okay, so here's where the chubby haikus kind of drift into the story. The 575 was just a little bit cramped, so I added another 77 to make tankas. So this is the mutation. So here it is as a haiku. Keep struggling. Find glorious good. It's hiding. Your souls breathe in hope. Support your passions. Grab hold of hands around. Create webs. And now we're into serious Tonkaland. This has to do with the moonshot, which I was entirely absorbed in watching it on my phone for obscene amount of hours. So here we go. Gorgeous blue planet spins along, oblivious of our greedy ways. She wobbles as she flies, on, sheds off the base of species. Fly on, forgiveness. No need for permission here. Your grace floats freely, filling craters with needed gratitude before they crack. It can't just be me. Shocked, mystified, horrified. How we can rocket to the moon while missiling humanity into dust. Ooh. Drifting slowly on, floating softly up. Starward, meeting destiny. My little clock ticking on, ticking on. Should I sleep through the alarm? I have two clocks. These were the buffers, in case you. Yeah, okay. Didn't want you to get shocked. Archaeology. Trying to find my memories buried in my brain. Digging before they expire. DNA's fragile times. And finally, pictures. Moving, still. Can't compare merely remind, stimulate, wildly swirling my emotions awake, vivid reminders of me. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Kathy Burns, everybody, please, another hand. From Gardner, New York, in Brooklyn.
Wrong talent.
All
But
roads,
not native, sorry.
all roads start and begin and end in Gardner. And Gardner. All right, our next feature, our next open micer in person, Stephen Roberts. We know him from Zoom, but here he is in person.
Right. I got two. That which never was became itself. When you stopped dialysis, the doctors said that you would drown. You stopped anyway. As the whirlpool swirl began, the days became weeks, and the conversation we never had became impossible. You babbled and gurgled. I waited by the shoreline of your bed and watched you recede. All I could do was drip water on your lips to keep them moist and wipe your face. How strange that one could be so dry while drowning. I surprised myself when I said the words I swore I would never say again, and repeated them, despite the fact I thought you could not hear. But then, from out the depths, your mouth made sounds, soft but audible and articulate, so low I had to strain to hear. And then you spoke, and it was as if a long alabaster arm emerged from a deep lake, clutching a gleaming sword that flashed in brilliant light, and the arm extended the sword, and I took it. You said you loved me twice. And then the second one will be ostinato. In the dream, you were still alive and scolding me for spending money. I explained I didn't think you'd be back, at least not so soon, not before the apocalypse. I didn't budget for two, and no, there is no place for the new books, let alone the old ones, piled on the landing and heaped on tables. And yes, I've been frivolous, disastrously so. I was always quick to agree. I acknowledge there is much to be done. The floors need sweeping and mopping, and there is dust everywhere, especially on your nightstand. But at least there are no clothes strewn across the floor, no socks or undies, which I confess I used to leave just to spite you. But in my defense, I lower the toilet seat after I pee, although I'm baffled as to why. Where's the cat, you ask? Funny thing about that, she developed diabetes and kidney issues just like you, and the vet strongly advised to put her down. So I did. Your nephrologist suggested the family do the same with you, but I refused. I thought it better you decide. You considered that. Oh, there was a pause. You glanced around. Well, she must be here then. I replied, I thought she might well be. Good night then. I'll see you tomorrow.
Stephen Roberts, everybody.
Whoop, whoop.
Good friend of Caps. He's been here for a long time.
What was his name, Mike?
Stephen Roberts.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Very nice.
We do our best. All right. Stranger to no one here at Calling All Poets, Mr. Ken Holland. Whoa.
Thank you and greetings. Two poems. The second one is like 8 seconds, so really not. The first is called The Scarce Edge of Belief. Poised here on a point where the earth is circling back towards the sun, dawn a shade of ambivalence, colors yet unstirred. Foolish to dip one's brush in just yet. The sky an opinion not yet fully formed. From where I stand, the trees seem oddly diminished, their numbers thinning, as one might find during difficult times. War, drought, some cataclysm, and this a village where only the aging and the infirm remain. I could tell you these were the woods I used to walk in. I could tell you anything at all. Our sun, one of 200 billion, here on the outer fringe of a spiral arm. Every star a gravity of light, born to its own slow decay. Each a study in solitude, each existing only within my own sentience. As with this particular dawn, how shy it is in reaching toward blue. I understand all we've come to desecrate, these woods that in childhood stood full. But what more would you have me say? The sky now lifting into violet, a moment I cannot hold, but only a fool would not embrace it. Thank you. Why am I thanking you? Thank the universe for that. So I don't know if Maggie is still out there, and not that this was intentional, that I did this thinking she would be, but given Rupert Murdoch in Australia, this is called Fox News. As the video shows, this device can either mow a lawn or mow down children. We report, you decide. Thank you.
Hey, Holland, everybody!
Thank you, thank you.
All right, as long as we're in actual physical land, I'll go next. And this is a new one, and it's called Canarsie. Brooklyn is a very crowded place, so few stand alone in Canarsie. I have always loved that name, Canarsie, originally Lenape. Canarsie, the shadows it uncovers, the love it requires. Canarsie, a deli of saints taking a break from the auction. Canarsie, the last stop before getting to where your essence is going. Uncles in Canarsie, aunts in Canarsie, second cousins too. East on Fresh Creek Basin, south on Jamaica Bay, the BMT Canarsie line, Coltrane in Canarsie, Monk and Miles to Canarsie. Where you only get a break every so often, so make the best of it, they say in Canarsie. Where historically, when compared to neighboring New York, nothing much has happened in Canarsie. The whole town has followed its own sense of wonder and gone about yonder centuries with a spring in its step and a song in its heart and a flower in each lapel. This is actually based, I don't know why I'm thinking about New Jersey, but this is actually based on a true story, but a very untold story. And it's called She Braids a Bottle. A bit more than a century back, Alice Hyla Ramsey, a 22-year-old Hackensack mom, took towards Poughkeepsie in her 30-horsepower Maxwell DA, bound for post-quake Frisco. At a light at a yellow house painted green, Alice and her niece and her tight-ass girlfriends show no signs of the endangered feminine psyche that men of science swore to. Vassar graduate carries water in cut glass toiletries, crosses plank across Twain's River, duels bed bugs in Wyoming. Outside Sioux City, a prairie dog hole blows front axle. She braids wire to fix the exhaust. 59 days and 11 flat tires later, the pretty women motorists into history road. Mr. Allison, thank you, everybody. All right, let's go back to our Zoomers. Donna, you still with us? Donna Best.
Yeah, hi, Mark. I too am like Maggie calling from tomorrow. It's Saturday morning. And I wrote a couple of pieces about fire. The one that I'll share with you today is the shorter one of the two. It's about the fire of volcanoes. Mother Earth's fire is not a gentle wonder. Mother Earth does not sleep long. She will never truly lay down. She may hold her smolder for a while, but her silence will float with fire until her trigger blasts, detonating her commands. Never, never finished. Her magma leaves its lasting mark with fingerprints from the sudden rush of red hot from her boiling womb. She takes and brings life with her fire. Her magmatism bursts, birthing mountains, shiny, cool, molten rock glass and extruded beads from her crust. She pushes and gives us her mantle for our lands, from her mouths of cracked open plates. Stretches her vessel of earth with her fountains of fire. Run, jump as exuberant children would on her ground of pacified, sizzled lava river stones with feet skipping across because her fire changes the rim of our world.
That was great.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Donna, you only got one? You only
The
got
other
the
one-
one, Donna? Okay.
The other one's a bit longer. Do you want a longer one?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. This one is also about fire, but it's about the way our First Nations people used fire to harvest their food. It's called Bits of Fragmented Bones, Narrating from the Garden. What comes to my eye is as if an artist stitched, but not with silk. It is a cleared sweep up the side of a hill where hunters waited at the top to kill. This view breaks open my silence and nags until I quiet its cries, half swallowing its bloody call to restore what was and what was interred with my forebears' bones. My ancestors read differently, thinking to match the influence of English fens, moors, and parklands. The poetry of nature was fire-sticked to blackened fragments of its former self. A patchwork of cool, not too burned, bush gardens that funneled wildlife up the hill where boomerangs and nulla-nullas of the hunger-driven would swing. Kangaroos' ears stood and twitched. They wore rusty red fur and uncut claws. They were not ready to be someone's kangaroo tail soup. When I look again, it sweeps me off my feet. I appreciate the art of nature's regrowth, but this land carries wounds and wire with barbs to keep their cattle and sheep. The art of fire farming bush scenes into wildlife gardens was brutal. The people lived because of the checkered patches they crafted to harvest up hills.
Beautiful, Donna. Thank you.
You?
Donna best, everybody. Bob Heman, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
Go for it.
Two very short ones. Vespers, thanking the shadow for the light that it reveals. Perception. They went through the wrong door until their reason became apparent.
Wait, Mom. Two people.
That was great, Bob.
Thank you.
Two more, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, Bob, do two more.
okay. Distance. Who looks until you look, then looks away. Touch. The shadow of smoke. Thank you.
Oh, that's great.
Bob Heman, everybody. It's always great to see you, Bob. We'll move on. Sandy M. That's all I know. Sandy, you with us?
Sandy had to leave.
Corbett, are you with us?
I am here.
There you go. Go for it.
Yeah.
All right, so this poem is a bit of has an anachronism in it. So you just need to know that Emma Goldman was an anarchist at the turn of the 19th century. So practicing social activist. It's called Time Traveling Anarchist Emma Goldman Visits a Walmart. I expected you to enter with the torch in each hand, but you moved slowly through the fabrics, so carelessly ordered and left in disarray. Such strange prints, you said, tugging out each new pattern. Who are these incredibles anyway? But later, when the girl selling iPads told you that her low hourly pay forced her to take food stamps, it wasn't until then we saw who you were, when you mounted the metal shelves that held up the credenzas and the ottomans. It wasn't until you began to condemn the labor practices of multinational corporations that a motley crowd of shoppers gathered. These were serious faces pressed in like a row of incandescent bulbs, all shine turned on you. As you labeled the economic stranglehold of big corporate entities as economic violence, fluorescent light glinted from the mercury in your bared teeth. As you paced, the shelf beneath you rattled, promising to break apart, to erupt into sudden shrapnel, waving a copy of Mother Earth before you like fire. You whipped these hearts into conflagration, ready to topple every kingpin of capitalism, to break the pillars of convention, to abolish this fabricated state. As tendrils of your hair broke loose, I wondered where all this was going, while my chest raged in fire, despite each of my misgivings. Thank you. I'll do the second one, I guess. So this one's called We Forest, and it's there's an epigraph by Ingeborg Bachmann from her poem Songs from an Island. There is a torrent under the earth. It will stream into us. There is a torrent under the earth. It will scorch our bones. So this poem is called We Forest. We are forest, you and I and you, a vast forest of pine flowing over a sequence of hill and vale, a seasick oscillation of earth's slow breath. We people the landscape with our limber branches, dropping cone and needle around us to blanket our roots interwoven like herringbone or narrative. The fire is locked within cells, cellulose and lignin prepared to combust. Some days we feel the wind, like friendly song moving between us, strumming our foliage 1,000 brittle harps. On others, we feel the fire, coiled in our tissues like night. Thank you.
Nicely done.
Well done.
The crowd love you here at Gardner. The one, the only Rayfield Kosek. Are you with us?
No, I believe she left.
Huh, dude.
Yep, she's gone.
Catherine Gonick, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
There she is.
But
Catherine,
I don't have anything ready.
Read
So-
from your book.
Where is it?
I don't think I'll give you a book.
Okay, hang on.
Catherine
No, wait.
will be reading this on July 16th while she's looking for a book.
Okay.
You read from your book.
And they get yours for free. Okay.
Mike, do you have me on the list? This is Julie.
Yeah, we got you, Julie.
Okay, I'm just wondering.
It's all good. We're coming towards the end of the line anyway, so you're on there.
I have one. Someone. Yeah, I'm confused. Am I reading or is someone else?
No, you are.
Okay. Warfare is the opposite of practicing Tonglen. Tonglen is a Buddhist practice. Ask to inhale your pain and to exhale my compassion. I instead inhale your righteous rage, feel fear, exhale my own just rage in return. And too fast to notice, a fiery fence springs up the burning barricade of exhaled words that separates my dangerous pain and yours and makes us equal in unsafety.
Well done.
One more?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Nameless. Eyes closed, waiting for sleep in a dark room. I feel something light on one of my eyelids. I turn on the lamp, see an insect on my night table, flap filmy wings, stretch long spidery legs to climb onto a book. I don't know the word for this creature. As an adult, playing Scrabble with my father and sisters, I wanted to win, but always lost. They loved strategy, I the dictionary, and how on the board, switching two letters could utterly change a word and its meaning. Once, gazing at nothing through the windshield of my parked car, I thought of our father, cheerful nudist of our childhood home, wondered if his unveilings counted as incest, and saw an insect from nowhere land with a splat on the glass.
Oh.
When Jung's patient recounted her dream of gold scarab jewelry, a real scarab flew in through his office window. A thing in the mind could come out. Tonight, I can't remember whether my window was left open or closed, but notice that my visitor has retreated. It might be under the bed, crawling the rug, making its way back to a messy closet.
Yeah.
Thank you, Catherine.
Thanks.
As I mentioned, Catherine will be our featured reader on Thursday, July 16th. So please come by if you can. Gregory Harris is still with us.
Yes, I am.
There he is. He'll be reading on June 5th as one of our features. So go for it, Greg.
All right, I'm going to try to cram in 5 short ones. This first one is dedicated to prophets not honored in their own land. Triangle man, floating among the stars, on what planet will you alight? Who among us could receive your sharp edges? Who could gaze into those pyramid eyes without squaring his jaw or circling her wagons? Isosceles on the mount, with a hypotenuse around your neck, mumbling parables, only parallelograms understand. That is your legacy. Triangle man, you with your rectangles must float forever among stars who themselves once had jagged angles, till they found their corner in the universe and caught a fire. Triangle man, floating among the stars, on what planet will you alight? I saw a black man blow his heart out. He was on stage where everyone could see. He wore a brass albatross around his neck and spoke in tongues. All around, pretty people chattered about hairdos and last night's escapades, while the waitress brought drinks and restrooms overflowed. All the while, the black man bled in colors no rainbow ever boasted. He spewed his guts across the room. Nobody noticed. A fly walks across my cellar floor. A big fly with silver transparent wings that dovetail from its black pill-shaped body in a perfect symmetrical V. Its legs are as thick and black as eyelashes, big feet perhaps, by fly standards. It does not move when I bend to swat it. When I reach to squash it, it does not fly away. It hasn't the strength to save itself. A warrior walks across my cellar floor, and wishing her well, I walk another way. Somewhere between mud and heaven, this forgetting, this never knowing the known, this denying what like bone permeates our imperviousness to we. Somewhere between dirt and stratosphere, the right to take away what cannot be taken except on pain of inflicting pain, which always returns to haunt, to hang somewhere between rock and ruin. Somewhere between flesh that walks and the firefly's bright remark, cocktail in one hand, cigarette in the ashtray, comes, almost always arrives, the red cries of conflicts, burnt meat, the boil on the battlefield, the orator on the scaffold, the noose that, despite the wisdom of talk shows, fails to discriminate between the notary and public stamp of good and certifiable evil. Somewhere between the idiot savant and the sycophant idiocy is the remembering that only remembers to forget. Where shall begin end? Begin shall end wherever am is, for am, whether big or small, is the why and wherefore of much. Am is the yes that defies the no. Am is the forever of the now, the to be against the not to be. Am is the this of that, the that of this, the ever and ever of if. Who am and how am? No one can say. One can make, one can have made, one can begin to begin, but one must not end where beginning begins to end. One must continue on. Some say love, some say like, but like love, where's old, where's new, where's right and wrong, more than less. And what is right will be left when what was is no longer is. When end begins, where begin ends. Thank you.
Wow.
My friend, good to see you.
Woo!
He will be joining us as one of the feature readers on June 5th, so please come on back. Julie Lomoe, you're up.
Finally, okay. I was getting paranoid here. But I have one that's from 2023, but it was still seems appropriate. Gaia on the vernal equinox. The Greeks called me Gaia. My name means land or earth, ancestral mother of all life. I arose from chaos, gave birth to Uranus and all the gods that followed in all their many facets, dark and light, terrifying and loving. Without a mate, I bore the mountains and the oceans. This day, the vernal equinox, the plane of my equator passes through the center of the sun. This year, this time, this moment, strikes at 5:24 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. From this day forward, light conquers darkness. Since ancient times, around the world, women as priestesses have led the rituals that celebrated the rebirth of spring, the sowing of the seeds that culminate in harvest, till Christianity and virulent masculinity drove women and goddesses underground once more. Today I call on women everywhere, maidens, mothers, crones, to celebrate and save me. Every day I weaken under attack by toxic masculinity and its lust for power. Winter still buries me in shrouds of snow, but shoving up from my fertile soil below, yellow shoots thrust toward the light, toward transfiguration, into vernal green and vivid blossoms. Okay, thank you.
Really sweet. I like that.
Okay. I think I did some research on that at the time. I don't remember all when I wrote it. You know, I looked up some of the mythology. I just want to share that I'm about to go on a cruise to Norway, to the fjords. I'm Norwegian, so wish me luck.
Yeah, Mazel.
All right, good luck, Julie. That was the one poem you wanted to read?
Yeah, that's enough.
Okay. Thanks, Julie.
Okay.
Josh, he's still with us.
I might have made a mistake. Josh might be John Bartell.
John, he's still with
John
us.
Bartell, yeah.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Go for it, buddy.
It's John, whatever. I have two short ones. Usually I write about grief and loss and terrible political things, but my brain was like, hey, let's write something fun. So I have one fun one. Kill your darlings. He said, they call me the human scissors. We were in a dark alleyway. He wore a fedora and a Superman t-shirt. I can cut anything. I'll make your haiku a hike. I asked him, can I trust you? He lit a cigarette, twirled it in his fingers. A block away on the street, an ambulance raced by. Lights like lightning without the thunder. He patted my shoulder, tipped his hat, and walked away. And the second one, there were only 3 people left. There were only 3 people left in the world. The one smiling and waving at the camera, that was me. You can tell by my blonde hair and the gap between my front teeth. We drank all of the wine and left dirty dishes in the sink. Nancy ran naked across the football field while we cheered her on. We swam in the river, unafraid of crocodiles. The leaves turned crimson in autumn, and wave after wave of geese flew overhead, their ragged V's a reminder of what we had. One morning, I reached for her, but she was in the treehouse, flaking a rope. Thank you.
I dig your work.
Thank you.
John will be one of our featured readers in September. I think it's September 4th.
Okay.
Yeah, my brain didn't fail me. September 4th. John will be one of our featured. Sam Harty is still with us.
Linette.
Absolutely.
Linette is next.
Okay, Linette, you're
Or
next.
not.
Then, and then
Yeah,
Greg.
sorry.
Go for it, Linette.
Hey, good evening. Good evening. The first piece is migration. What's my motivation? Migration from the infestation in my mind. The negative feelings, the hurt, brokenness, the tattered tapestry of what's left of my being. My motivation is to move along, away from the hustle, far from the shuffling, the noisiness of nothingness, void spaces with no innovation, no life, and no growth. My motivation is a migration from believing that other people's perceptions rule my destiny and that I can't truly be me. This motivation remains steady, steadfast, and still strong because my migration to a positive outlook starts today, and I will not be swayed into regression. And then the next piece is really short. It's a day without music. If music didn't exist for a day, the world would rotate anti-clockwise and happiness would thrive. People would forget to smile. All fauna would be mute and the seas would cease rolling while the winds would no longer howl. Trees would uproot due to boredom because music is in every facet of life. Thank you.
We love you here in Gardner, Linette. Thank you.
Hey, I agree. Oh,
Linette's one of the biggest fans, one of the folks on CAP. So thanks for coming out, Linette. Sam Harty, you're next.
All right, thanks a lot. Let's see. I have 2 poems. The first one is called Language. There is a language I speak fluently from childhood. The dialect of waiting rooms, the grammar of walking on eggshells, the accent of almost saying something and swallowing it whole. Too many moments spent in hospital corridors and funeral homes, back when saying goodbye was the only thing I could say, the only time silence escaped me. I learned to conjugate grief without hesitation.
Wow.
I learned to declaim hope in every tense. I learned early how to translate the beeping of machines, the tightening of lips, the way the doctor cleared his throat. But that was only the first language I learned. That was only the first language. I learned another, the hard consonant of no, the clean grammar of enough. Speaking without apology, I let my voice arrive before it was invited. I am fluent now in speaking out, in breathing through long pauses, in refusing to swallow what was meant to silence me. There is a language I speak fluently from childhood, but it's not the only one I know. And then my next one, let me find it, I'm sorry. My next one is called Strength. They tell me I'm strong as if it were a choice, as if collapsing would have never, ever been safe. Strength feels like learning how to breathe through a locked door, like carrying silence in your mouth until it hardens, like believing this is what good little girls were supposed to do and calling that strength. But strength isn't a gift, it's a scar that tightens without warning. It's the muscle grown from it's a muscle grown from lifting yourself out of the dark again and again. Now I know the difference. Strength feels like showing up for something more than what's mandatory, like believing I deserve more than survival, like choosing to stay for myself. So don't call me strong like it's a compliment. Call me someone who learned the difference. Thank you.
Well done. Thank you, Sam.
Fantastic. Sam, that was wonderful.
Wow. Terrific.
Really
Always good to hear from you, Sam. Thank you.
big wow.
And we'll end the evening. Again, I want to say thanks to Roberta and Jude and all our open micers and Irene. And I want to close the evening out with Mr. Greg Correll.
Okay. I have two short poems. The second one's a little shorter. The first one is called Mourning Everywhere. Small reminders of her death everywhere. Translates into tight stomach, high breath fear. Then all is good until you carry a weight, until you flatten furrowed soil, until she's gone. So mood-altering composenius, brazen and plain bottled neurocurious. Dostoevsky's retro genius was the creak of sledge skis. In his blue midnight, I have ice life. And my second one is called Fall. Spring, the time of trampled beauty. Too busy for beauty, we tend to tasks. Summer, the fathead grain, sacrificed, is brushed by hands, green gold. Fall, the season of gravity, triumphant, and the chill moon always moving. Winter is for reading and death. Hoarfrost sighs, dreams of fingers.
Thank you, guys.
Nice.
Hey, everybody give yourself a hand for coming out tonight. There's some great stuff tonight. Thank you, everybody.
Woo-hoo.
All right, we will not be here in June. On July, we always take July off, at least the first Friday. We're back in August. So everybody, please keep writing. Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Did you say not in June, Mike?
No, he misspoke. He
No. June will be first Friday, but Zoom only. And
Okay.
July we don't do July because it's the 4th of July, so we just don't do it.
Right.
But we'll be back in person in August.
But June is yes.
June is yes. Well, thank you, everyone. Another great night.
Okay.
And
you.
I feel like I need to steal from you, Linette. I need to write my own poem about what would happen if music was gone.
Really?
Oh,
Go
yeah.
for it.
Go for it.
Oh, man.
That was an
It's got a
inspiring
million
thought.
answers to it. It does.
Speaking of music, I had a question for Mike.
Yeah.
When you were writing about Canarsie,
Yeah.
and then you mentioned Miles and Monk and Coltrane, and I wondered what they had to do with Canarsie.
Absolutely nothing. It just seemed to fit right there.
Okay.
Absolutely nothing.
We thought you knew something we didn't know about.
No,
Right.
actually, I looked it up to see if Coltrane had ever played in Canarsie, but there is no record of him ever, nor Miles, nor Monk. But I just brought him up anyway.
No, I
Did
heard
you
them
ever-
all. I just sold my whole vinyl collection just last week.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm like Linette said, I can't live without music, but I can live without my old vinyls because I'm too lazy to play them.
Phooey. I sold off some of it, but I retained a few, and then I went and bought a new turntable.
Oh,
After I'd sold a bunch of them.
oh dear.
It's like I discovered I really couldn't do without them, but now I'm gonna have to rebuild the collection.
Mm.
Mike, did you ever live in Canarsie? Did you earn the right to critique it?
No, absolutely not.
Shame.
Okay. I think
hearing those players come out different places.
okay. Good night. Thanks, everybody.
Sure.
Did you say you're coming to Albany or something?
I'm going to close things
No,
down.
no, I'm working on a couple of featured readings up there in the Troy, Albany area, probably in the fall.
Will you
Oh, in
talk
the
to
fall.
me? That's where
Okay.
you know where I live. Talk to me.
Yeah,
That's where I am. Yeah.
I'll let everybody know. I'll let
Okay.
everybody want to get up.
Okay.
All right.
Yesterday was International
Close it
Cat Day.
down. I guess Erica,
Thank
one
you.
last chance,
Bye.
Erica. Bye-bye. Bye all.